Hey guys, I'm back, and today I am in my car. Well, not my car, but yeah, I'm in my car, and I'm coming to y'all really quick with a quick video. I'm gonna do two separate videos because these are two different topics. But for this first video, I want to talk about something called Arrested Development. So I'm just gonna give y'all a quick, brief story. I drive Uber. I really like driving Uber. I love driving Uber. And I love my riders. So every time I drive Uber, or every time that I drive Uber, if every day that I drive Uber, I converse with a lot of my riders, mostly all of my riders, if they're willing to talk, if they don't have their headphones on. Most of the time they like to talk to me. And we talk about real life things that are going on in the world. And they always say they leave my car feeling rejuvenated with some great, good energy. I've had some pretty important riders in my car since I've been driving Uber in North Carolina. And one of the ladies that I had drove Uber, and one day I was taking her to the airport. I remember like yesterday, she had a dog. And at this time, I was still kind of sad about leaving my dog behind back home when I left to come down here. Like, I sacrificed so much to move on forward in my life and do things the right way, and giving up my dog was one of the things that I did. I'm not really sure if I had to do that, but given my situation and the circumstances, I had to. And it was like one of the most hardest things I ever had to do, alongside losing my mother. So, and this is no joke, like, I had this dog ever since I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school, and that's over 10 years that I had this dog. And I just, at that time, I was not thinking right, correctly, properly, all the way. I was just so fixated on getting away from a place where caused me so many memories, not even bad memories, but caused me so many memories, to the point where I wanted to forget everything that came with those memories. And a part of that was my dog. My dog name was London, and I love London. London is a human. I pray every day that my dog is still alive, and if she is, she's being treated very well. And if she's not, I hope and pray that she rests in peace. Like, I think it's good for that thought to linger on in my mind about my dog, because I feel like if I was to know what happened to her, I would go through another phase of a deep depression, and I really don't want to do that right now at this moment. It's a new year. Happy New Year to everybody who made it into this next year. But back to what I was talking about. So the lady had a dog, and she took her dog with her everywhere. She was going on vacation, and she took her dog with her. It was a white lady. So, and she was very beautiful. She reminded me of one of the sisters from Off of Charm. So we was talking, and she was asking me, like, are you from Charlotte? She lived in like the Mint Hill area, a nice house. I think she designed it and built it from the ground up. She told me all of this stuff on the course of her ride. I took her to the airport, and she was asking me like what my plans were, because after I told her how my age, she said that I was young, and it's a very brave thing I'm doing to be down here by myself making a way. So I was telling her about my situation, and I literally asked all my riders who seem like they have some sense of experience, or some keen advice that they could give me about my situation that I'm going through. Because even though I'm one of those people that don't know the answers to my situation as well as the solution, like, Geminis, we like to be reassured that we're right. We're not really going to you for an answer, but we like to hear the many perspectives of people, especially random people, on a given topic. So we were talking about relationships, and I asked her if she lived alone, and she was basically saying that she lived alone. She had this dog, she was dating someone, but she didn't want to rush into it too fast. They had just gotten engaged or something like that, and she said that after they got married, they were going to see how it was when they were living together, but however, she was still going to keep her house, because there's nothing like having your own peace. And that's what she said. She was telling me throughout her experience in life, with dating and shacking up and living with people, and all that other crazy stuff that you go through in relationships. She said what she learned is that she's never been more happier and content in a relationship like the one she was in that caused her to get engaged like that, because she never put herself first in a relationship. So in the course of her talking about herself, I started talking to her because she started asking me my story. And I start telling her, like, everybody who knows me, y'all know that I'm a truth teller. I'm a person that is going to tell the truth even if it's harsh, even if it makes me look bad, even if it makes you look at me like, bitch, you know better. Even if I don't care, I'm just going to tell the truth, because I feel like if I tell you a lie, you only fixing the problem of the lie. You're not fixing the truth of the situation. So, you know, I've learned that at a very young age to be healthily, constructively criticized. And when I'm getting at, that leads me to this. So as I'm talking to the lady, I'm telling her that, you know, I wasn't really sure what to call my relationship, because it had gotten to a point where I didn't accept it anymore. And I had to explain that to her. And I told her that basically, you know, when I first started dealing with this particular person, that, you know, in the beginning, everything is all peachy keen, handy dandy, fine, blah, 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 blah. But that first year of us getting to know each other, it was good. But at the same time, it was like, I'm not going to say it was fake. Now, 3 years later, I feel like it was. I feel like it was a little bit misogyny in there. It was a little bit of manipulation, a little bit mask on, mask off in there. But, so the first year, I felt like, I didn't really know what I felt. It was one of those, I'm not going to say confused, but it's like when you can't quite put your finger on something, but you know it's more to it. So, you know, I was just like going with the flow. I wasn't really in a relationship, to my knowledge, because, you know, I just wasn't. This individual wasn't living with me. He wasn't staying with me. You know, he's an older guy. He has children. So I just felt like he was having fun with me, or trying to have fun with me, or just trying to pick my brain. I mean, it wasn't that serious. So as time goes on, we continued, and he has a lovable spirit. This video is not to bash anybody by any means. This is just giving an experience that I had. So I'm telling the lady, like, as time went on, I realized throughout the experience that he was having, as well as myself, that, you know, he was at a certain space in his life where, you know, I don't want to call it the Twilight Zone, but that's what it felt like. It felt like at first, when we first started talking, we were two mutual people just trying to mix energies. But then it became me trying to, like, construct his energy, like build him in a sense of, like, well, my thoughts and the way I perceived and the way I did. And it started to feel like work. And it was draining. I was telling the lady, you know, through the course of us dealing with each other, talking, I managed to lose my mom, both my grandmothers, and he was around. I told her, you know, the important parts about that. And I also shared with her some things deep in depth that really hurt me, and I felt like I could open up to this lady because she's a stranger. It's not like somebody that in your family, like, you know, when you tell somebody in your family something and they love you so much that they become a little bit of a bias to what you're saying to them because they love you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you speak to a stranger gonna give it to you cut and dry, how it is, nitty gritty, you know, and they don't sugarcoat shit, because it's not like they have to, because they don't know you. And even if they do, you can ask them not to, and they will. Like, that's what I find. I don't know about your experience, but that's what I find. So I'm talking to this lady, and she was saying, and I was telling her how I went through so many challenging events in this relationship, to the point where it went from me liking this person to developing a sense of, I need to fix this person. Because, and I feel my reasoning is, I went to college for psychology, adolescent psychology, so I'm very intrigued with the brain. I'm one of those types of people that I like to come across people who have issues, such as myself. We all have issues, but such as issues that I've been through already. So I can, like, not really like mentor, but yeah, like mentor and like love them through it. So I ain't even gonna talk about his situation. I'm just gonna talk about my place in the situation. It got to a point like where everything was always about this individual's feelings emotionally. Like, I couldn't explain it. Like, the little issues that I felt, the issues that were big to him, I felt they were little. They weren't. I experienced this stuff when I was like in elementary, high school type of shit, you know, with friends crossing you, betraying, all of that shit. So I felt like, you know, you can't project your situation or your thoughts or your feelings or your experiences onto other people. But I felt like with having me there, I felt like I was a very great support in the situation, and I felt like I was taken advantage of. I had to listen so many times about these individuals who hurt him or used him or whatever him in a situation, and I would get so upset and feel so strongly towards these people. These people are not his family. They're not his blood. They're just people he chose to stay around too long. I would have my feelings and wits about these people and tell him that, you know, when it comes to a point in life when you're trying to grow, it don't matter, you know, if the person that's done something detrimental to you to the point where it's unforgivable, you can't go back, or if it's something small. If you are climbing up to a certain place in your life, you're not going to get to that place climbing up the ladder looking down. Because how you going to be able to acknowledge what's in front of you when you keep looking back or you keep looking down? And, you know, with me, with that being the place that I was in my life, after me losing three of my core people, and really with me withdrawing back from everybody that tried to be there, because that's the way that I heal. Like, even in the smallest situations opposed to that one, when I go through things, like, I have my ways of getting through things, like hanging out, being with friends, and, you know, having those nice, and let me pause myself in the middle of what I'm speaking. If you got a friend that you could vibe with on any level intellectually, like, y'all could laugh at y'all pain type shit, and y'all could build motherfuckers up type shit, and y'all could go toe to toe when it comes to achieving shit and getting shit done, and, you know, one hand washes the other type of shit, keep that person by your side. And if it ever comes to a point in your life where you have to distance yourself from that person, just give yourself, allot yourself the time that you need to take to rejuvenate yourself and get yourself back together. And if that person is a real one, they're gonna always love and respect your decision, because they know you as a person. So they're not gonna never take no shit personal, you know what I'm saying? They just gonna wait for you to be back in action. That's how I feel. So I just had to get that out. So yeah, I had a friend like that. One friend like that. And I withdrew from everybody, and I felt like, you know, my relationship was a hindrance. Not because I wasn't in love, but people don't understand, like, when you hit rock bottom, and some people think that rock bottom is finances, which it is, and it can be. But I'm saying, like, when you hit rock bottom, like I hit rock bottom. I hit rock bottom in the sense of saying fuck everything. Like, fuck where I'm at, fuck where I'm from, fuck who know me, fuck. Like, I really got to that point where, like, fuck it. And I really gonna be like, fuck it for real, because who I was with. You know, some people feel a sense of entitlement when they're around you and they do certain things for you, you know, and it's really for themselves. And when I say that, I'm not backhanding anything that was done for me, but I feel like through my experience, a lot of times when people do shit for you, it's not really for you. It's to have something to weigh over your head, just in case things might take a turn in direction and not go their way. It's to steer you back on the path to keep them getting and having things the way they want to have things. And that's why I don't like being helped by people. I don't like taking shit from people. I don't like borrowing. I mean, I have for different situations in business and things like that, you know, but I didn't know myself at that time, you know. I had met some wonderful people, and they're not pressing me for anything, but I'm just saying, like, I've never really been one of those people to borrow to pay my bills type of person. I'm not. That's what I'm talking about, borrow. Not no $40, not no $150, not shit like that. No. I'm talking about borrow because my life is not together. No. That's what I mean. My household has always been in order. You know, I'm one of my mother's most responsible children. And the first one to do a lot of things first by myself. So I'm the one that made the mistakes and come back and get the information on how to do it the correct way and don't feel no type of way, because that's just who I am. The Yoda. So in my relationship, you know, around 2020 is when that COVID shit was happening, and my mom had ended up passing away, and that was like one of the most hardest moments of my life. And you know, me thinking that because I'm with an individual who has experienced the same thing as me, I'm feeling like they're going to teach me, they're going to be there, they're going to lead me. They're going to be there in a way that I would be there for somebody. But that's why I fucked up. I fucked up thinking that, and my aunt had always told me this, she told me this since I was a little girl, you know, but she told me to stop expecting myself out of other people. And I never ever knew what that meant, because trust me, if I knew what that meant, I would have been even more secluded than what I was. But she used to tell me all the time to stop expecting myself out of other people. And that really rang an alarm with me in this relationship, because, you know, I'm a giver. And I know that I'm a giver. And I'm also a taker. And the difference between those two is I give unconditionally. Even if you have taken me for granted, I still give. You know, it's just in the way that I give, it may switch up a little bit. But when I become a taker, it's not to take from you in a sense of to make you feel used or exploited. It's to take from you because what I have been contributing and doing and bringing to the table and being as a person that's, I feel, has not been respected and taken for granted is owed to me. You know, and this relationship has taught me a lot, because it just taught me a lot. And I'm going to touch on other topics outside of this relationship. But what I had said to this lady was, I done been through everything in this relationship with this individual. We done fought, physically fought, argued, disrespect, manipulation, just anything toxic you could think of. And I'm not blaming, but I honestly feel in my heart of hearts, it wasn't my doing. I am the least confrontational person you will ever meet. If me and you are having a feud, that has to be the last resort, because I'm going to avoid you by any means, because I know my temper. I know that. And I'm one of those type of people, I get mad. This is so crazy. I get mad, spaz out on you, say every fucking thing I feel, and then don't care about it. Like, I said what I said, whatever. You know, but based off how you respond back to me, if you respond back to me with some real shit, and it's some shit I need to hear, and it's like, all right, bet. But if you saying some bullshit to me, and you unleashing some shots at me, shots fired over some vulnerable shit I told you, it don't have nothing to do with the situation, you just try to hurt my feelings, that's some shit I'm not fucking with. That's toxic. I went through all of that in the midst of me grieving my mother and both my grandmothers. And then along the lines of those people, young ones that I watched grew up, you know, my peers and stuff from where I'm from. And I wasn't there. But when I tell you that with each name that dropped, that came back to me, when I tell you that shifted me, it did something to me in the sense of, you know, this is for them. It's for them. Every day that I wake up and I speak, or I go to work, or I get on these videos and I start speaking, I start giving y'all my experiences or anything, this is for these people that I grew up with. This is for the people that raised me, because I was at a point in my life, and I know this had nothing to do with the video or Arrested Development, but I was at a point in my life where I was ready to give up everything. I was ready to give up my opportunities with contracting labels and business brands and stuff on Instagram. I was ready to give up with me continuing my YouTube channel. I was ready to give up with me starting my business. I was ready to give up with me coming out here and being ready for the fucking world. I was just ready to give it all up to be in a relationship because I felt like me and somebody had something in common. But the more and more I was around this individual, as much as I loved them, Lord knows I do, I found that we are not compatible. And for the longest time, that shit sat with me. You know, after the fights and the bruises and black eyes that I got, the scratches and punches and shit that I gave, and my self-defense and anger for tolerant all of this stuff and cheating and all of that shit, I try to figure, still, with me being hurt the way I am hurt. And when I tell you guys, I was hurting until I realized what a person does to you has nothing to do with you. Has everything to do with once I let that seep and seek. Y'all know how a person season they meat and they put it in the refrigerator for the next day. Once I let it seep in like that, you know, even still, this is how big a Gemini heart is. If anybody is inquiring about zodiac signs, even still with me knowing this, after I came to the conclusion, I still said to this man, like, you know, even though we're not compatible, I still want us to part ways with you benefiting from our situation as well, because I knew and I know no matter what, I'm going to prosper. And all I have is me. All my cards are bet on me. You get what I'm saying? I know I got family. I know I got people out there friends out there I could call. People out there that I could just say, hey, I'm fucked up. But I'd rather not do that. Like, why? Because I've been living my whole life not doing that. I've been living my whole life taking chances and being grown and being responsible. And I feel like I did pretty good at it. Yeah, this time that I'm in, you can't put a time on healing. Especially the type of love I have for my family. Ain't nobody gonna rush my healing process. The longer you rush me, bitch, the more time I'm gonna take. Period. And that's what I felt like, you know. Everybody can see greatness in you, and everybody can see that you destined to be great and you destined to be something. But some people don't know that when you are grieving and you're going through something, you are needed. You need and you are allotted time to have by yourself. You know, and that's really what I needed more than anything. I didn't need nobody buying me nothing. I didn't need nobody sending. And trust me, I was so infuriated. This relationship has pushed me to limits that I didn't even know I can go to. And it's all love. Like, I don't have no hate towards nobody. Nobody on this earth is going to make me hate them to the point where it's going to stop me from doing and being who I am. It was just a moment, you know. The things that we experienced and done to each other, you know, whether it was reactive or active, it was just a moment. And I had to realize that me used to being such a perfect Patty and this person that doesn't make mistakes and always lives up to her mother's standard and does what the family wants her to do. This was the first time I did not do that. And honestly, at first it was my decision, but in the midst of it, when I started to go through things, it was not my decision. But however, I had to ride it out like a real G that I motherfucking am, because I'm not gonna call on nobody to be there for me when I know all they're gonna have for me is words and try to make me feel bad for some shit that is normal to experience. So fuck it. So the lady was telling me, I was telling her about my abuse and all that stuff in the relationship. And she was saying how my heart is so big and she prays for the both of us. Because she could tell by the way I would tell the story and speak about this individual that I had love for him. But she told me, like, you got love for him, but you're not in love with him. You're not in love with him because you're not letting him become a man on his own. You're sitting here trying to tell, and be this nurturer because it's natural for women to be nurturers. But you can't be with the man that you nurture, because after you nurture him and you build him up, he's gonna go and be with the person that did not nurture him, you know, because they don't know him. You know, it's like a clean slate. It's like your kids in the sense where You raise your kids up to be responsible, and in no way I'm saying that this man is my kid, but it's like, this is a simile. It's like your kids, when you raise your kids up to be respectful and honorable, they're going to attract somebody who's that same way with those same mannerisms, God willingly. So to get somebody that's already years older and stuck in their ways, it's kind of like hard. That is impossible unless they want to do it. And I felt like with me being the type of person that I am, it became a challenge. And like, I feel like when some people see that you care about them so much to the point where it'll start fucking you up, you stop doing your hair, you stop doing your makeup, you stop going outside, you stop interacting with people because you're so consumed with their shit that they're still choosing to deal with. You're so consumed and have all this animosity festered up toward these people that they still choose to deal with whatever level they choose to deal with them. You one day you're gonna sit back and you're gonna be taken aback by how this person could confide so much in you about what they feel and still choose to deal with these people and still choose to mistreat you over these people and still give these people the upper hand, still honor these people who've made them feel like this. They'll make you feel how these people made them feel and be with these people like these people always had their best interest. They'll really try to help these people. They'll really try to uplift these people. They really try to give the game that you gave them to these people. It's weird, you know? So I started to feel like the middleman. And I am the middle child. So it was like that full circle moment came. Like with my siblings, it came in my relationship. Like, I am a person who is worth being honored and honorable of what I say and how I move. And my feelings should be respected about situations that you bring to the forefront. So when I'm telling all this lady all this stuff and shit, she was telling me that, and I already knew about this terminology, but she was telling me about arrested development. And basically what arrested development is when an individual experiences a traumatic experience, their first traumatic experience, whatever age they were when they experienced that traumatic experience, the brain, there's something in the subconscious brain that stays there. And when they feel that same type of trauma coming on, it could be in a different situation, but when that same feeling triggers their brain, they result back to that same version of themselves when going through that experience. And I always knew that, but y'all don't understand, like, when you're around a person 24/7 and that's all you're around, and then, you know, throughout your job, you discover all these types of people who are at different places in their lives and moving around and all this other type of shit. And you're in a space right now where the world is your oyster and you're able to talk to people and converse on levels to the point where they want to exchange numbers with you and build with you and help you in your life and mentor you and give you all types of resources. And that's me. Wherever I have been down here, these people have showed me nothing but love, nothing but admiration, nothing but. And my relationship wasn't that bad. I just outgrew it. Like, my voice right now is so hoarse. I know I have like a raspy voice, you know, but my voice, my throat has never been this congested and dry and itchy and scratchy ever in my life. I have been yelling so much, screaming, all of that, for someone to see me and respect me and understand me and all of that. Say the most hurtful, heartbroken things to me and be really, I hold grudges too. And I really had to sit there and decipher, like, why, you know? All these people did this fucked up shit to you, but you want to sit here and take out your frustrations and disrespect me? And I'm the motherfucker that's trying to build with you? You saying you trying to build with me? That's when the whole life had me fucked up, because I'm like, I love. Nothing about my love is fake. But once you do that shit to me, that's a pain that is all too familiar with me. That's a pain that I've experienced from my mother. That's a pain that I've experienced from both of my grandmothers. And every time, and they were my enforcers. They used that to help me grow. Because every time I leveled up and I came back with knowledge about my experience, I always came back to them. After we had our disagreements, I always came back to my three mothers. They always say that they were so proud of me and they wish they were like me. So once I learned to use that hurt and pain that people gave me, that those three women gave me as a fuel to grow, it was like it's a secret weapon. And for myself, not against nobody else. Because once I'm able to take the focus off of a person that I care so much about, whether it be anybody, friend, family, whoever, I went through all of this with all my friends, anybody that was around me, it was a point in time in our lives where I felt like I had to help them. I never really experienced that in a relationship. I never really been in a real relationship. I never had a real boyfriend. I never had nobody that I brought around my mother and actually sat and talked to her and got the serious version of her and moved in with me. So with that being said, I had to give myself a break and a pat on the back for going through it as long as I have and walking away with the sense of dignity that I have after accumulating so much knowledge and still choosing to wish that individual well, you know. But arrested development is something that all of us will experience or we are experiencing due to the fact of a traumatic loss or traumatic experience. I lost my mother when I was 24, right before I turned 25. And I will never forget that month. Fuck today. That whole month, something was in me telling me to be around her. It's like a spirit comes. It's like, and I don't regret a thing. At first I did because I didn't want to accept who God ordained me to be. But I knew it. I had all the confirmations in the world. So that month was the month I told my mother that I was going to be rich. And I was going to be a star. And she was just so excited. Like, me and my mother have been feuding since I was a sophomore in high school. And even though I was mad at her through me being angry with my mother, always showed her love. Always, always, always. Like, that was my bestie. When you can still love a person that you have differences with and it don't stop shit, that's love. And I know that because I had a love like that with my mother, I know that I will experience a love like that with a man who still respects me, who still understands that when I express myself in the ways that I express myself is due to the life that I live, and they'll be able to handle that. They won't have to challenge it. They won't have to try to break me. They won't have to try to, do none of the above. And I'm not rushing that. This 2023, I am going to take time to myself to Najee Ramba. The Martin Payne episode when he fucking went AWOL and went missing. Yeah, like, I know I've been missing to the people who know me back home, but this time this is solely for myself because I want to level up in a way that makes me proud. Not really make other people proud, because it's not really hard to make people proud. It's not hard. You just got to do something that they feel like you're destined to do, but to make yourself proud, you got to have, happiness, that peace from within. And when I think back to before the passing of all these beautiful, beautiful, lovely people, rest in peace and paradise to all of them, I had this spirit that was so, can't think of the word. I have this spirit that is so intriguing to the point where it draws people in to me that don't even know me. And I remember me being that cheery, jolly part of me. When I was happy and stuff like that, I was going through some of the most hardest moments in my life. Right now, I probably look a little rugged to you. I don't look like myself because I don't got my makeup and stuff on. But right now, for me, I'm happy because, you know, my skin has cleared up in a way that I'm proud of, and I'm getting there. It's not exactly where I want it to be because still got a little bit of those blemishes on top, but I'm staying to the point where my skin got that little vibrancy, you know, rejuvenated look back. And it's the tone that's even. This is no filter, baby. Okay, this is on an iPhone, not an Android. And I'm just starting over like a flower that's budding out from the grass. And my cheeks are so big and round and rosy. My head is round. All my wisdom tooth guys are coming in forcefully. So this must be the moment in time where I elevate. And I look forward to posting videos. But I know this video was supposed to be short. It's already under 35 minutes because I could talk my ass off. Arrested Development, guys. Just look it up briefly. You don't got to tell nobody. Just look it up for you. Start reading more books. Start awakening. Start being there for you. And take it one day at a time. This is, I don't know if I'm going to call myself Charlie, Penstar, or Deja, or all three. But I'm checking out and I'm feeling a little bit more freer. Because today I was really upset. I was really upset. Can't even tell you why. But I was really upset. I still am, kind of. More so disappointed that I can't have things my way or the way things need to be to work properly. But it's a lesson. Deuces. Oh, subscribe to my channel. That's what I meant to say. Everybody says that. Don't forget to hit the button right there at the end of this video. Bye, guys.